feet in the northwest and 5 to 8 feet in the central and southeast Bahamas. Thursday, look for variably cloudy conditions across the northwest Bahamas, warm and breezy with an isolated shower or even a thunderstorm possible. In the remaining of the country, the weather will be partly to mostly sunny, warm and breezy elsewhere. Winds will be east to southeast at 15 to 20 knots in the northwest and easterly 20 to 25 in the central and southeast. Seas will continue 4 to 7 feet in the northwest and 5 to 8 in the central and southeast Bahamas. Radar this morning is clear and there are some low-level clouds streaming from east to west across the country this morning. Here at the Department of Meteorology, this is Anastasia Fernanda. Have a beautiful day, Bahamas.
And Anastasia, thank you so much for that. We truly do appreciate you. It's time for your Constitutional Minute. Did you know that according to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Article 126 and Paragraph 3, if the Governor General, acting in accordance with the advice of the prescribed authority, considers that the question of removing a member of a commission under this article ought to be investigated, then A, the Governor General, acting in accordance with the advice of the prescribed authority, shall appoint a tribunal which shall consist of a chairman and not less than 2 other members selected by the Chief Justice, or where the question concerns the Chief Justice or Judicial and Legal Service Commissions, by the President of the Court of Appeal, from among persons who hold or have held or are qualified to hold office as a justice of the Supreme Court. And B, the tribunal shall inquire into the matter and report on the facts thereof to the Governor General and recommend to him whether the member ought to be removed under this article. And that was your Constitutional Minute. Bahamians everywhere know your rights.
This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
It's Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, and the morning edition is live. On today's show, a possible fuel strike looming, a life-changing moment for teen boys. We take a look at the Garventines Autism Unit, and we're feeling the Easter spirit. So let's start the morning off right.
Edition is brought to you by We Buy You Sell Company, your leading hurricane impact windows, doors, and tile specialist.
The expert in everything was once a beginner. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning edition. I'm LaDon Davis.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Charles Fisher, and that quote, I think you got our audio mind to Ron in mind, because he knows everything besides the job he's supposed to do, and that's audio.
Oh, my goodness. So, okay. So, what's coming up in this show this morning?
Or was that quote just for women who think that they know everything they were once a beginner?
It was for everybody. But, yeah, I could hear, yeah, it's going to be quite a ride this morning. So, what's coming up in the show this morning?
Easter is coming up.
So, what, you're going to have Easter egg hunt?
Yeah, Easter egg hunt. Where did you get with, you know, we're having a scaling competition.
Yeah.
You got your nails done, so I don't know if you're going to be able to scale.
I think I'm going to beat you to it. I'm going to beat you to that challenge.
And we have some youngsters this morning, and one of my stories I did from Cat Island, they went out fishing. I was so impressed with them. They also had a young lady in there. She's about 14 years old. Really? She was reeling in fish. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about autism this today.
Autism Awareness Month. I know Agatha and I were able to visit the Garventines unit, and we were able to speak to a few teachers there about that unit. They need some resources to help those students who are battling autism. So we're going to hear from them later on in the show. Also, our Grifter teams are getting set to leave this coming. They should be leaving tomorrow or Thursday, as they set to go to the Grifter Stream. They're going to Barbados. 2 years not without Grifter. They are the defending champions. Hopefully they still have that hot trail behind them. And then our track and field squad, they are getting set to go to Kingston, Jamaica. ZNS Total Sports will be providing coverage with all those events. So stay tuned to the ZNS television and radio this coming weekend for all your Grifter. I just love Grifter. Be excited. Remember when I was a young boy, Grifter teams going away, you put your ear to the radio and you listen to everything, so it's going to be a great ride. But talking about a great ride, I wonder how traffic is this morning. I know the streets are a bit chilly on today, and Corporal Kim, how are things out there?
Good morning, Fisher and LaDon, and good morning, Bahamas. Another chilly morning out here on the traffic beat, and your live traffic drop comes to you from East Bay Street and York Street. I can tell you there's already a stream of steady traffic flowing in this area. I'd say some light to moderate traffic, so you want to look out for that when you're making your morning commute to work. Now, joining us this morning, as always, is Corporal Patrick Kemp of the Royal Bahamas Police Traffic Division. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Bahamas.
So this is the second morning of Kemp choosing the area of traffic. So Kemp, tell us why this particular area is so significant.
Well, what I decided to do, Anthony, was hit one or two of the spots that I know persons commit various offenses on a daily basis. In this case, East Bay Street and York Street is one of those areas. If you notice, there's a one-way sign that obviously points in the southern directions. We have persons who are still entering onto East Bay Street from York Street, and that is wrong. The thing about it is the signs are posted, and they are obviously visible to the drivers. They still insist on breaking the laws, and that is why we have to be at various destinations to cut down on those offenses.
So what exactly is the danger of using this one way as a dual carriageway, and how will I be fined? What is the offense?
Well, the offense is it's at a fine of $100 for driving in the wrong direction on a one-way street. You do not want to enter onto the main thoroughfare because persons are not expecting you. In fact, persons are expecting you not to enter onto this main road. So imagine to their surprise when you enter onto the main road from a road you're not supposed to be on. An accident could occur, and I want you to know that you will be fined and also charged for driving without due care and attention.
All right, so what is your advice to drivers who may want to take a risk it all, just to, make that quick cut right there and support us?
Just don't take that risk. You can meet me right here at this intersection, and I'm going to issue a citation and any other offense that you might be committing, and at that time. The risk is not weighted because you risk injuring persons, yourself, and inconvenience yourself with damaged vehicles. And that there is not a risk you should be willing to take. Also, talk about minimizing distractions in your vehicles. You want to also clear any loose items in your vehicle. That can also be a problem in terms of traffic collisions. On yesterday, 2 accidents in particular. Both cases, 2 separate locations, persons both saying that they took their eyes off the road for a split second and they ran up to the rear of another vehicle. So you want to drive with due care and attention, stay focused, people, and minimize not only any distractions, but any loose items in your vehicle.
I think those loose items also refer to us who prefer to drive with our shoes off, so I guess watch out for that. And that's all the time we have for now. I'm going to toss it back to you guys in studio.
Well, thanks a lot. We are waking up to 72 degrees, mostly cloudy, winds east-southeast at 9 miles per hour, humidity 60%. Now, building high pressure is producing fresh to strong winds and rough seas across the Bahamas. For the northwest Bahamas, weather partly sunny, mild and breezy. As for the central and southeast Bahamas, weather partly cloudy to cloudy, mild and windy with a passing shower in the southeast Bahamas. Your daytime high temperature 81 degrees Fahrenheit, overnight low of 68. Wednesday and Thursday, sunshine and breezy. On Wednesday, 84 on the day, 73 at night. And then on Thursday, partly sunny and breezy, 84 on the day, dipping to 72 at night.
To strike or not to strike, that's the decision the Petroleum Dealers Association is seriously considering. This may very well mean motorists will have to fill up at the pumps before the holiday approaches.
We have about 90% of our members want to strike. Right now, shut it down. They're frustrated. You can imagine after 10 years, or in some cases, 40 years being in this business, and you're being heavily regulated by government, and government is taking all the profit, and you're doing all the work. You invested X amount of dollars in this industry.
As Governor General, His Excellency the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Smith continues to rest comfortably in Doctors Hospital under the observation of his medical team, Cynthia Mother Pratt was sworn in as deputy to the GG at the office of the Governor General at 1 Montague Place on East Bay Street on Monday afternoon, assuming the Governor General's responsibilities in his absence. Administering the brief ceremony was Chief Justice Sir Brian Moree. Resources recruitment and counseling, those are the reported tools needed to address the problems associated with mental health illness in this country. And according to the nation's Chief Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, those requisites will be met.
Part of the challenge has been that the manifestation of mental health issues is sometimes difficult for persons to come to grips with. And there's still a stigma that if I go to a psychiatrist to talk through my challenges, that this label of being crazy comes out. And the time has come for us to understand that mental health illness is like an illness. It's an illness that requires treatment.
2 new cases of COVID-19 reported in the latest release from the Ministry of Health and Wellness, one here in the capital and the other at Abaco, for a nationwide count of 33,360. 8 cases remain in hospital with 4 recoveries. 10,000 homes comprising more than 20 communities in New Providence and Grand Bahama now connected to the Bahamas telecommunications company's Superfast Fiber to the Home service, a reported record-breaking feat for the national telecommunications provider. The move comes as the demand for broadband services mounts. BTC CEO Andre Foster says by the time the project is complete, the company will have an access of 50,000 customers to its network. And by year's end, BTC will decommission its copper networks in communities that are fully fiberized.
You're going to see less cables on the poles. You're going to see us taking down those copper cables and reclaiming some of that infrastructure, which means when we have some of those, hurricanes that come through, there'll be less burden on the pole line, certainly making sure that, that infrastructure is not going to be a part of what gets damaged. Another thing that we're really focused on in communities is trying to make sure that we are moving infrastructure to the underground. So in places like Abaco, where we've recently also launched some new homes with fiber to the home, all of that infrastructure has been buried. As you know, Dorian really had a significant impact in the Abacos, and so our mission is to make sure that when we build back stronger.
14 young men have graduated from the shock treatment program initiated by the community activist and Hope Center pastor Dr. Carlos Reed. Shock treatment is an intervention program intended to reform the lives of at-risk youth who are predisposed to or already engaged in deviant behaviors that can leave them behind bars.
I think it was an awesome week. We had an opportunity to impact 14 young men based upon what their parents said that were going on the path of destruction. And I believe that the activities that we were able to expose them to would alter the course that they were on. They were able to see what could happen if they continue on that course and what could happen if they change course.
We've got to give women an opportunity to lead as well. In my experience, they've been as competent, they have been as invested in their careers and their families. So I'm extremely excited to be leading this. From a Care Bahamas perspective, that restructuring was driven by the level of competence and excellence that we found in so many of our women leaders in our organization. I'm delighted that we're not only the leader enabling connected lifestyles and experiences, but we also have women at the center of everything that we do in our leadership journey.
Happy anniversary savings at Home Care and Electrical and Home Decor, Joe Farrington Road, just west of the traffic light. 20% savings on all appliances for 1 week only. Washers, dryers, refrigerators, freezers, stoves, and much more. And 20% off all home decor items, including comforters, pillows, sheet sets, bathroom accessories, everything for your home. Home Care and Electrical and Home Decor, celebrating its anniversary and the opening of Phase 2 with big 20% savings for 1 week only, May 2nd to 7th. Call 324-7953.
It's Autism Awareness Month, and the demand is indeed great to assist thousands of children battling this disorder. So the morning team popped into the Garvin Tynes unit to find out about the progress, challenges, and the resources needed to keep the unit functioning.
Some children are nonverbal, and so providing the services for them, for parents that cannot afford the private sector, then it helps them with learning.
What started out as an idea in 1999 has now blossomed into a 4-classroom unit to accommodate some 53 students living with autism at the Garventines Primary School. Head of the unit, Anna Morel Martin, says while there are a laundry list of behavioral signs of some disorder, the unit has seen some of those patterns shift slightly over the past 2 years.
This year, due to the pandemic, since they left, they would have left a bit more functional, settled. Coming back, the children, behavior-wise, some don't listen. Their behaviors with the stimming have increased. Just behavior on the whole. I had some children come back and they're using the bathroom outside. It's just that inconsistency throughout the last 2 years has caused damage to our children. They have been set back in their development and their training.
For Anna Morel, teaching autism students has been quite the task for the past 9 years. But she says giving them the basics they need to survive in the real world is something she enjoys.
We have children that are nonverbal. They can't speak in sentences, but they will answer you and they will follow instructions. Then you have some that are academically inclined that can do basically grade 1 level work. And so in the center, that is how our children are mixed. Nobody is the same, and so teaching them, you can't follow just one pacing guide. It has to be a variety of approaches with these children, and it has to be to their individual learning style.
Additionally, Martin says more emphasis must be placed on investing more resources into expanding the special needs unit.
The number of special needs is growing in our population, and especially autism. And we aren't actually prepared to accommodate all of their needs. For us, we need more teachers. I know they have put a halt on bringing in the Cuban teachers, but for the most part, Bahamians aren't venturing in this part. And so if they would expand the reach for teachers, as well as providing services on campus for children with disabilities.
While the lack of teachers continues to be a challenge nationwide, Martin remains hopeful that a system is in place to assist autistic students find employment and other avenues to survive after graduation.
Prime Minister, the Honorable Philip Davis, was back home this past weekend at the Cat Island Fish-Off, while they spoke more about the Family Islands now being opened back up to host festivities and regattas. It was a festive mood as Cat Islanders and visitors enjoyed themselves over the 4 days of the tournament. And as the first major event since the Prime Minister made the announcement for festivities to resume, to have it happen in his home island was quite significant.
We are the leaders in this thing. I'm so happy to see the smiles on people's faces, being relieved from all the challenges we're having. This Fish-Off, an event that we have been having, we lost 2 years of it because of the pandemic. It's now back, it's booming, and I'm so happy and excited to see how it's been truly embraced, particularly by the residents of Cat Island and those Cat Islander descendants who came back home just to be a part of this event.
The Prime Minister pleased with the way Bahamians have adapted and making sure everyone stays safe.
And what I'm recognizing is that Bahamians have taken responsibility for themselves. They are being responsible and protecting themselves and protecting others. And that is what this is all about. I think at the end of the day, as a people, we understand and appreciate how to protect ourselves and how to protect others. Measures are only in place to ensure that the tools to fight against this virus is in place. And that's, I think, the obligation of government to ensure that they're in place.
And he's happy to note that since making the announcement on March 5th that the Cat Island Rake and Scrape and Regatta is back on course, there has been a trickle-down effect for all the islands to get on board.
Yeah, there's that what they call a cabin fever that's rippling through Nassau as well. People just want to go somewhere. And not necessarily to the United States now. They're recognizing that a lot of people are coming to the Bahamas and enjoying it more than we are. And the Bahamas is a place that we could enjoy. We have so many unique and differentiating experiences we could have on each island. And we need to understand that let's build up our own domestic tourism. And this is one way of doing it, by having events such as this.
Up next later on this month is the National Family Island Regatta in Georgetown, Exuma.
And as we head to the break, we take a look back at a day in Bahamian history. On April 12, 1930, the Public Works Department completed plans for the reconstruction of Government House with alterations to the exterior and improvements to interior following damage by a hurricane the year before. Also on this day in 1990, Hubert Ingram was elected leader of parliamentary business in the House of Assembly for the Free National Movement. He made his maiden speech at the F&M Rally of Deliverance on Armbilly Park 12 days later.
There's a spark of greatness in each of us. That spark is called personality. Individual gifts and talents provide the fuel to set that spark ablaze. Each child has the right to an education which values their personality and nurtures their talents, while teaching them to be respectful to their parents and their cultures.
Bahamas will head to Bridgetown, Barbados later on this week to defend their crown at the Crofter Swimming Championships. Tristan Ferguson and Radishka Gibbs are two of the senior members on that team.
My expectations for this meet is for us to go there, swim fast, swim strong, and to do our best to try and most likely drop time in all our events and try to go for record and for the glory as well. Even though we had a gap year, we're coming back strong, quite well and quite fast, because with that gap year, we had some time off where we wasn't getting a full, strong set of swimming. But since we came back, we're coming back real nice and strong.
This year, I am a senior, and I'm pretty excited about that. The team chemistry is pretty good. Everybody's pretty close to each other. We have a lot of new people on the team, younger kids, so it's really good. We're really close with each other. It's a good time to bond and get to know each other. And I feel like we're at the end of this trip, we're all going to be really close. It's like a family.
Also, our national cricket team left town yesterday for the Cayman Islands to take part in 5 T20 matches before they return home on April 19th. This is a spin-off for the team's trip to Antigua in November for an International Cricket Council World Cup qualifier. Leading the squad into competition will be new head coach Corey Edwards.
Obviously, some of the fellas have been already, some haven't. But so obviously, it's still a good experience at all times to go over and test yourself at all times. The fellas have been preparing well. I've been here since like February or so, but you know, doing things a little differently. This take a while for fellas to get used to, but I can say to you here now that they rallied well. Obviously, it was a bit of a culture shock at first, yeah, but you know, even too with the accent, so you know, you gotta slow down sometimes. But the thing is about it, the fellas rallied well, and they put in the work, and we will see how we go in Cayman, because as you know, it's always a work in progress.
fellow Bahamians, this weekend we celebrate 2 momentous events. One is referred to as Good Friday, and the other one is referred to as Resurrection Sunday. Now, why are these events important? These events are important because the Bible tells us that we were once connected to God, but we got separated by sin. And the only way for sin to be removed was through the shedding of blood. The Bible says without the shedding of blood, there's no remission of sins. And we could not use our own blood because our blood was tainted. So Jesus came into the earth. He said, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So in other words, what was happening on earth was not like heaven. Jesus came and he died for our sins so that we could be restored or salvage. That's what salvation is all about. Salvage means to restore to full value. And so he restored our value by shedding his blood for our sins, by sacrificing himself. And when he resurrected, he said he came that we might have life and have it more abundantly. And today, because of the resurrection, we have abundant life. And I have a personal testimony. I once was very lost. I was caught up in sin. But through my faith in Jesus Christ, I was one day restored to full value. And now I live a new life, and I live a life abundantly, a life of peace, a life of no violence, no stress, no turmoil. I live because he lives.
We are fully in the Easter season, and many are preparing to celebrate the tradition. It's a time when we see the world a little differently, taking on a more positive attitude, renewing relationships, and holding on to the love and affection of those closest to us. On the commercial side of things, it's also about cashing in on every buck to be spent. Here's Crystal Darling.
Some say the spirit of Easter is rooted in family, love, and sacrifice. For many, that lends to reflection and fellowship. Outside the spiritual realm, though, Easter signals a big moneymaker for merchants, many of whom have long ordered items to lock in as many customers as possible. And this particularly coming out of the 2-year economic drought the COVID-19 pandemic brought on. ShopSmart store manager Tanya Hasty says customers seem eager to host the traditional Easter egg hunt. And for those who don't remember how, here's how it goes.
Any hunt, you want to have a 5 egg per person ratio. You want to stuff your eggs with little trinkets. But we all know that in order to win the Easter egg hunt, you want to definitely have the golden egg full of all sorts of goodies. You have stickers, you have money, you have gift cards, you have all sorts of items that you want to put inside of this golden egg, so that the person that comes by with the most eggs in their baskets is the person who's going to get this prize.
Hop on over to Partyland, and its manager Mitzi Butler lets us in on a twist to a classic Easter candy trend.
You can create your own cookie coop with your peeps, and it's really, really nice for something for the kids to do in their recreational time. They can create and make their own coop for their peeps and have a delicious treat afterwards. Candies plays an important part of tradition and family gatherings. And I would recommend for families to come together this time and season, even though we're coming out of the pandemic, hopefully. It's good for the family to come out, and do things together. And Easter I think it's a very good time to do that.
And if you think youngsters are the only ones ecstatic about Easter, think again.
Easter is actually a great time of the year. Family get together and we get to eat some fish on Crossbun.
Bringing them out to get that exposure, because last year, they were stuck in the house. So I know they're going to enjoy meeting the Easter Bunny and having fun with them and meeting a lot of little kids.
It has been tolling all of these months, not being able to go anywhere. And with having 4 children, you have to think about so many activities to do. So this is a blessing, being able to come out so they could see the Easter Bunny, get some treats, see some other children. So I'm happy that the country is opening back up.
Easter may not be here yet, but the mood certainly is.
And more from the Cat Island Fish Off this past weekend at the Smiths Bay Dock. This time, the young ones were casting their lines. Unlike the big boys who got to go out in their boats, the youngsters had to fish in the creek, and with nothing seems to be biting, they trekked the shallow waters to the other side. When they returned 2 hours later, they were happy to display their fish, and the winner, Marcus Thacker Jr.
Just catching different species of fish.
How often do you go out fishing?
Every break from school.
How was it out there for you today fishing?
It was easy, very easy.
What did you catch and how many did you get?
I catch grouper, rockeye, 2 school masters, and a big eye john.
to 5.
The only girl in the competition and finishing second,
Jadney. Well, my father and mother inspired me. So, being around them, I just got the hang of it.
How often do you go fishing?
Every weekend. It's just the point of catching fish and having fun.
What do you like to catch?
Every fish, I should say.
You're second among the boys today. How do you feel about it?
I feel good, but I know I could do better because I came first in 2019.
Then it was time for the race of all races.
A hermit crab race. I'm going to say on your mark, get set, go. You're going to loose your hermit crab, step out of the cycle. The hermit crab that reach out of the cycle first win.
A full bucket of hermit crabs for your selection. This big boy looking like the winner gets to the line and says, you know what? If I come out this cycle, they just might eat me. They ain't tricking me here. Let me turn back. And the winner, the smallest in the crew.
What's your crab name?
Shelly.
I want to know what inspired you to mark the crab with a lipstick. Your sister inspired you. Now give it up.
Fisher, you do know I did eat hermit crabs when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Power Islands, they taste so delicious.
I never tasted them. I know they like to put them in rice. And coming up tomorrow, what's on your plate? I promise you a special dish with conch salad as we head into the Easter. Any ideas?
Please, no mayonnaise. Oh. Please, no mayonnaise. No!
It's going to be something unique. No. But be sure to tune into the ZNS Network for news as it happens. TV and radio updates throughout the day. Then you can tune into the Northern Edition at 6:30. On the Bahamas tonight at 7 o'clock. Got to get my conch salad recipe. So you think I should make it with conch salad and tuna, conch salad and grits?
I was told conch salad and cornflakes.
You're in for a treat tomorrow, folks. Stay tuned.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
The significance, or Holy Week, is celebrated from Palm Sunday through to Holy Saturday. The significance for the church is that we follow the last hours of Jesus leading up to his crucifixion and resurrection. It encompasses from beginning with Palm Sunday, following through Holy Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, Maundy, Thursday. It's a time when we reflect that a new commandment was given to us. And then we go into Good Friday, where we celebrate Jesus' crucifixion, Holy Saturday, and then we go into Easter. It is a time for Methodists to reflect and to prepare ourselves for the crucifixion, the resurrection, the Queen of Seasons, as we refer to Easter, but to reflect on the death and suffering of Jesus Christ, our Lord, to redeem humanity. Some of it has been affected in many ways. We've had to look at adjusting our services to the COVID restrictions. You know, you've had to make sure you do social distancing and all the protocols. In addition, we've had to, in many cases, have the services both in person and live stream because to accommodate persons who would want to be a part of the services. You will also find that Methodists sometimes tend to have services for the whole week in many of our churches. So we would start from Holy Monday, but there, a lot of our churches have had to limit the services this year. In fact, last year they couldn't have them, it had to be virtual, and so they've had to limit the services. As I reflect on and talking to the ministers from around our conference, what they've noticed is that a positive result has come in that more people, because they're sharing via social media, they've had more persons that have tapped into our services who ordinarily wouldn't have been. And so, it's also because of the COVID restrictions and the people having to slow down, and persons are having to reflect on what this really means. And so there's a lot of reflection that is happening in the midst of all that is happening. So there has been where persons have had to social distance, follow the protocols, not come out, as some are unable, but also we're starting to reach more people than you would have ordinarily reached during this time. So you've had to be more creative in how you do our Holy Week services and also our Lenten services. Encourage the church to grasp some new ideas that, we probably talked a lot about, but, with the COVID restrictions, has pushed the church into some areas that they talked about going, but they had to reach their members and to be relevant and to be in ministry to persons who are, some are afraid to come out, and others who probably would have not come out, but they're searching in this environment to make meaning about all that is happening. You've had to even adapt your communion, how we do in church, but also with visitation, you've had to be creative on how you do visitation, because you want to make sure that we don't infect persons, but we still have to reach out. So, it's a wider range of ministering to people through technology, but also through creative means, because we